Hey everybody, did you know you can go to colinmullen.com in order to get art and art prints? It's true. That's why I made the website, colinmullen.com. So hey everybody, I guess I should have done this video like last week because it was like the first day of the year, right? Something like that. Anyway, I really like doing these like post-year wrap-ups. It's a nice way for me to actually see what work I actually did accomplish, what I ended up doing, and it's a good way to get like thoughts out of my head about my process, as well as just to talk about themes in my work. And I think that's interesting. I wish some of the artists that I was super into would do that. So hopefully this is interesting for y'all. If it's not, then I guess you're here for no reason. Anyway. So this first one and the other ones in this series, if you look, you'll find other ones that look like it, are just like, what if I just like took all of the bits about myself and I exaggerated them to an absolute extreme and just made this weird fella and, just kind of like made fun of myself a little bit. And I had a lot of fun doing that, like not taking myself super duper seriously and just doing some weird stuff. And so that's what this series is, just like, I don't know. I'd been seeing a lot of work of people doing like self-deprecating art, and I'm like, that's really funny. I think I want to get in on that. And I really like the color palette. I think that my color palette does end up being very minimalist, just like very simple. I either do that or I do these like very intricate, complex things. We'll see one in a bit. But I think I really like this simple style more. It really pops. I like it. All right, yeah. So then this next one obviously is part of the same series, and it's that vibe of I've had a lot of coffee. I do not feel good about myself for the state of the world right now, and I got like 2 hours of sleep kind of mood. And I'm just like, oh, hey, what's up? I really like the expression on this one. This one's really good. I think it's when I switched over to this skull here that I realized that I was getting a little bit tired of doing that style, and I'll probably come back to it. I really like that orange, for example. So I was like, okay, let's just do a palette cleanser because I can't think of what else to do. Let's just do an art. I'm gonna just test out a style choice and a method of working and use the thing that I always paint whenever I don't know what to paint, a skull. As a thing to just sort of like, okay, here's, a thing that I can try out this style with. And inevitably, I feel like this looks like a scratchboard piece of art, which is just, I don't know, kind of cheap and whatever looking. It was an interesting thought experiment, but considering I didn't follow up with it, you kind of get the idea that I didn't really like it. Also, it wasted a whole bunch of paint on the sides because I inevitably just covered up the spot with black, and it's just like, okay, well, all that red, all that blue that was under there, well, now you can't see it. And it's just like, I don't know, it just felt a little wasteful. So this next one was a gift for my wife for our anniversary. When we first started dating, we were dating long distance, and so one time when I went to visit her in upstate New York, we went by this park. In upstate New York has like beautiful trees during the fall and winter months, and they have these huge like waterfalls, which are just like I've only seen like one waterfall in my life prior to this, and you just find them all over the place up there. And so we just kind of sat down near it and had a picnic, and I played guitar and we had a good time. I was like, you know what? Why not have a painting that's just sort of like, remember this nice thing that we did that one time? That was cool, right? That seems like a good anniversary gift. And she liked it, and it's not for sale because she liked it. So this next one is some desktop art that I just needed to make, so that way I'd have some art for my computer. I really need to change this one. I don't know. I don't think it's very good. It's got like all the themes and vibes that I like in art, but just done real bad. It's just not a very good picture. There are a couple stinkers this year, but it happens, right? Here's another one that was sort of like not necessarily a gift for my wife, but just something that I'm like, my wife will enjoy this. This is like my wife's favorite color. This like seafoam teal range here, and I was like, you know what, let's do that. Let's paint something in that color palette because it reminds me of her, and it'd be a nice thing to have. And man, this just doesn't feel good. I tried doing the skull, I tried doing the fish, and it didn't work for me, man. This is another one of those stinkers that I was talking about. So after like a month of bad art, I come back and then just like absolute banger out of nowhere. This is from Elden Ring, and it just looks good, man. I decided not to add the roots and stuff. This is like right under the big old tree in Elden Ring. I just thought that this cathedral looking thing was cool. I don't know what the lore is on this place. I'm just like, that's neat. Let's paint it. Kind of do something that's a little bit more artcade, like video gamey than not, because I don't do that as much anymore. And it's kind of been nice to not do it as much, but it is cool to do some art that is based on video games. But anyway. I don't remember what year I did that Mary painting that I really like, but this was like, okay, what if I try and do that aesthetic again? And I feel like I got there for the most part. There's something weird going on with the mouth. I think it's just like the teeth don't line up quite the way they oughta, but like this red plus that blue plus black is just like really cool looking. Like, I love it. I think it comes up with some really, like, it's just so vibrant. It pops so hard. It's such a good look. And yeah, I'm gonna definitely experiment more with this, but just like this this hooded skull thing, I mean, it's definitely like my aesthetic. It's a good one. So I think that this painting is very reminiscent of you know, the first couple of the year, in that it's the style that I think I've fallen into, where it's like big chunks of color separated by big thick lines in simplistic forms, that the simplification of the form is just to be able to make it clearer and you know, really have more pop and impact. I feel like when you get into really detailed work, after a while it becomes just a oh, that's so cool that there's all this detail. Whereas if you go with something that like has, you know, very specific placements of certain colors, you can get a very different vibe that is more striking on a different level. It's not about the detail, but it's about the skill of the artist to be able to decide which colors to put in which places. And I feel like that colors have very spiritual meanings to different people. Obviously it's different for every person, but similar to music, how a minor chord can sound depressed or sad and a major chord can sound happy or whatever, I feel like colors have that same sort of thing, that they innately trigger an emotional response in people, and it's different for everyone. For example, like the teal here I use because it's my wife's favorite color, and it's a thing that, you know, I embody into my work when I want to show off joy and happiness. And so, you know, every color has a placement based on, you know, basically its chord progression. It's a spot in the work as it is. I hope that made sense. I don't know as if it did. I just believe that colors have certain representational meanings that are important. This next one is just a bird painting I did for my folks. I want to say this was for my mom's birthday. Yeah, that checks out because my dad's birthday is in January. And I've just been settling into giving them bird paintings for pretty much every gift, and to the point that they have a wall of bird paintings now. They like watching birds. They have like a bird feeder out on the tree in front of the window that looks out onto the front yard, and so they just kind of sit there and look at them sometimes. So I'm like, you know what? You guys like birds? Here's a bird. So this next one, I really like Goya. I was like, what if I try and do like a Goya style painting? And it's just not my thing, you know? Like I was talking about with the painting a couple ago, like this is really not my style. As much as like I like this kind of imagery, it's just not the kind of stuff that I like to paint, I think. So this will probably not see a sequel. I'm a huge fan of Hopper. I think it shows in a lot of my work. And I think trying to abstract out the light more than even he did, to almost make the painting abstract like I did here, is a direction that I want to experiment more on. Where it's, you know, it's figurative. It looks like a real scene, but like just abstracted completely. Like you can still tell what everything is, but it's these big blocks of color. Like I said before, this one has some like shading and stuff like that, which makes it different than some of those other ones. But this is definitely a direction that I want to try again, and just try and get that vibe of like Saturday, Sunday morning is what I was kind of going for here. Just like, it's okay, the week's over, we can just chill and hang out and relax. And you know, I like cats, so why not put a cat in there? You're gonna see a couple, starting with this one where I'm trying to do very like pointillism, like just like block of color rather than trying to get super detailed with it. Just do like splashes of color, and that's what I'm trying to do here. And also, like, I really like wandering around the city at night. I like just being alone in a city that normally it's like a liminal space, except for dark and quiet. I like dark, quiet spaces, and the street usually isn't one, but in the middle of the night, it is, and that's one of my comfort areas. Is just roaming around the city at night. I don't know why, and I don't know what's wrong with me, but I just find it incredibly calming and relaxing. All right, let's do the checklist of things that I do in art. Big blocks of color, representing things that I enjoy, you know, like teal, representing, you know, joy and happiness because of my association with it with my wife. Cat. And then there's poppy flowers because of, you know, the associations there. Yep, it's a Rev painting. It's me. Just the vibe on this one is just sort of like remembering to be in the moment and remembering to, it's a memento mori sort of thing, but calm and not quite as dark feeling. Back to another painting of just being in a space at night by myself, alone. This is sort of a reference to, there's a bar here in town called Spider House. It's not very good, honestly. There's really no reason to go there. The only reason I think people go is that it's close to UT campus, and while I was going to UT, the traffic would be so incredibly bad that it was better to just sit at the bar, have a beer, work on homework, and then go home once traffic let up. I ended up having more time in my day just because I would do that. But just being there at night gives a different vibe. It's a bad place. The food's bad. The service is bad. The aesthetic is just sort of being held together by tape. But again, like just the weirdness of the place, the just, you know, it's not clean. It's not well kempt. It feels homey. It feels nice. Haven't been there in years, unfortunately, and I think that's a bit of what this painting is about. No real reason to go there because I don't go to UT ever since I was, let's say, kicked out, removed, whatever you want to call it. This one was fun. I like trying to do art with a palette knife. It creates a very stone-like effect. Someone mentioned in the comments on this one, and I like that, especially with this color palette. This is a neat one. I don't know if I can really do anything. I don't know where I can like take this style, like where else I can go with it. I tried for quite a while to get like knife palette painting stuff to work, mixing in like colors that I don't normally use, like this one, to the other ones later that use the more traditional color palette. Say it with me. Skulls, simple color palette, blocked in, black lines separating things out. Yep, it's me again. Yeah, I have a style. I have a style now. It somehow has appeared. This one is sort of in reference to this weird dream I had about this weird fella here. Just kind of like wandering around in nothingness. It was fun. It was good. It was a good dream. Kind of creepy, kind of surrealist, but you know. This one is directly inspired by the book that I was talking about in the video, No Longer Human by Osamu Dazai. I really liked the first part of the book because I really identified with the character in the beginning where he's just like, I don't know how to like communicate or be human, but like he kind of took it in a different direction than I went with my life, where instead of just like having that separation and feeling awkward about that separation, like he turned very like misanthropic and just weird, man. Like I in a different universe, I could have ended up being that guy. I could see that. Like there's definitely a part of my brain that could have gone that way if I just couldn't get it together. But he turns into a totally different person by the end of the book. But those first few chapters of just like feeling like that sense of alienation and being a different creature to anyone else around you, not in like a special I'm a cool guy way, but in a just sort of like lonesome weird person way, was very relatable. I decided to continue with that work with the weird guy with the hat, just having a good time, you know? Like, I like him as a character. I think I'll keep using him. And I was like, where else can he wander around in the endless nothing of a, empty universe that is devoid of anyone but himself, it seems. And I'm like, how about he goes by the water side? That'd be nice. I like that. I like that he's got a little adventure he's going on. He's a fun little fella, and so I thought I'd paint him again. Looks like I forgot to record voice lines for this one, so you'll have to excuse the change in my voice for this bit. I just woke up. This one, again, doing the knife art thing. I think the knife art thing is very much a product of me wanting to do have more expressive marks, but still have that simple palette, and just feeling like some of these ones, like the skull, like the occult skull that I was showing off earlier, a few back, just don't feel like they've got enough. I don't know. I feel like I haven't done enough marks, but I really like that other one, so I don't know why I'm so adverse to it being there. The knife art stuff is fun, and it is a good way to just sort of loosen up and do something different. It's also a way of like using the paint, but it uses up so much paint. Again, wandering the streets at night, rain reflecting off of the street lights or vice versa. It's just, I don't know. It's one of my comfort places, and it's a nice thing. I used to roam around a lot at night, just, being out on the street. A lot of it was due to protests or, meeting up with friends or, I never really did the bar thing. So it's not that. It was just, like I said, I enjoy that space. So this next one is got a fun story behind it. My dad was like, you know what people like down here? They like Longhorns, they like cowboys, they like musicians, they like, those kind of things. And those you could sell at like markets around in the area, in the little cities near Austin and that kind of thing. People like that. And I was like, you know what, you're right. Maybe I should try doing a Longhorn. And I started painting a Longhorn. And for those of you not aware, the Longhorn is the symbol for the University of Texas. And so inevitably, when I started trying to invoke what I think of when I think Longhorns, I started thinking about UT and the way that UT is. And near the end of this video, you see me trying to figure out on a separate canvas whether or not it would look good if I was more explicit about my opinion about UT and just having like a burning cross in the background. And I felt that was a little bit hokey, a little bit much. Trying it to like get it to work with the image is not going to really work. I just wanted something that was really unsettling, that was like violent without like the violence, like an oncoming threat rather than something that is openly a threat. The eyes of this Longhorn are more forward-facing, more predator-like than regular Longhorns are, and so this to me reads like UT, a aggressive predator sort of thing that had I added the cross would kind of show off their more racist aspects that I don't really care for. Can you tell I don't like UT? Even a couple years on, like it's been years since I left UT, and I'm still just like, you know what? I don't like Longhorns. I mean, the animal hasn't done anything to me. I don't know why I've got to have a beef with it. No pun intended, but there I am. And then lastly, we got this painting that I did for my wife, hence the teal, of my cat Abby. This one was released after the new year, but I finished it this year, so I felt like it more fit into this one than next year's wrap up of art. But just like, what are things she likes? She likes our cats. I like them too. Just try and find a picture of Abby looking cute. Do my thing with the, bold colors, wide areas, black lines separating the things. Like it's very much a me piece of art again. But stylized as something that my wife would like, and hopefully she could hang up in her workspace. Looks like that probably won't be the case, so it probably will just end up being in the living room, but I digress. But anyway, that's this year's worth of paintings in wrap up. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this like provided some context, or maybe like allowed you to see some into my process. If I need to get more like explicit about what I was going for in any of these, or if I didn't do a good job explaining it, let me know. I try and do a little explanation before every video on what every painting is about, but I thought this would be a nice place to kind of cap off the year. I'd say this hasn't been my strongest year of painting, but I kind of found some like styles and some things that I was interested in, and I think that I'll go back to the weird self-deprecating art and the more abstract stuff, as well as the Hopper-like but more abstract lighting paintings, because I do love really strong contrast, and I think that those are probably all directions that I'm going to keep going. Anyway, it's that time in the video to thank the people who make these paintings and my continued career as an artist happen. And so thank you to the following people at the $5 tier or more, starting with my mom and dad. I love you. Thank you to Wapfu. Thank you, Vox. Thank you, Top Houndor. Thank you, Tom K. Thank you, Tiffany. Thank you, Thomas Few. Thank you, Terry Maverick. Thank you, Snoutpunk. Thank you, Skelecorgi. Thank you, Reverend Joe. Thank you, Retrograde. Thank you, Mortis Nodus. Thank you, Micah. Thank you, Maliciousness. Thank you, May. Thank you, Lost Nevada. Thank you, Kayla Hollinger. Thank you, Gala. Thank you, Gabriel Bennett. Thank you, Dragon. Thank you, Chiptune Glitch. Thank you, Bubba Fair. Thank you, Blake. Thank you, Bep. Thank you, BD648. Thank you, Amber. Thank you, Alpha Lesbian. Thank you, Acrobus. And thank you, Ants! That was a pretty good one. Short, sweet, loud. Good. I think so. Anyway, I hope you guys had a good year, and I look forward to seeing what you guys are doing, and I hope that you guys look forward to see what I'm going to be doing over the next little bit, and I'll see you in the next one.